and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Parker Duofold, and this is the Centennial Godron in gold. We have a Parker Duofold Centennial, and this is a Godron in silver. We have a Mont Blanc Le Petit print, and this is the Solitaire Aviator Doué. We have a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Brothers Grimm, a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and this is the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle 1902 edition. We have a Conway Stewart Centenary, and this is the overlay or filigree is made by Henry Simpole. We have a Mont Blanc, and this is the Jane Austen Writer's Edition. We have a Parker Prestige or Duofold Prestige, and this is the Ruthenium Chisel. We have a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and this is the Jules Verne. And we have a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and this is the Robert Louis Stevenson. So I think let's take a look at these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is the beautiful Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in gold. Now Godron, if you don't know, is this sort of fluting that you get here on the sort of detail here on the barrel or the cap and the barrel here. It's a very, very nice sort of fluting that's going on. You also have the Parker Duofold there, cap finial. You've got the lovely Parker feather clip as well. This is a really, really nice pen. I've been wanting this for a little while now. This has a Parker number 6 size, and you'll see there it is a fine nib. Parker do put it on the feed and not the nib, but it's a decent size in my hand, and I've wanted to get the Godron in gold or silver purely because I have the classic pen CP5 made by Parker in the vintage and the modern, and I just figured that it would be nice to have these in the collection as well. These are all cartridge converters, the Parkers, but they are pretty nice pens. You can post the cap there as well if you wish to do so, and it will post securely. It is a very nice pen, I want to say it's quite weighty. It's not as weighty as some of my pens, but it does have a little bit of a weight to that pen. And as one of my viewers said, actually, that these pens are actually coated to try and reduce the tarnishing on the pens. These are, I believe, brass bodied pens with resin over the top, but also plated in gold and plated in sterling silver. So the second pen here is the Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in the silver. Now you can get the Godrons in the international size, which is a slightly thinner, slightly shorter pen if you so wish. Again, you've got the Parker cap finial there, and you've got the feather clip as well. These are just nice pens, and I have to say I really do like these. You can see again another Parker arrow nib there, and this is a number 6 size nib, and that one is a medium. So I typically prefer medium nibs, and not. I try not to get fine nibs unless I have to, and I certainly try to stay away from extra fine nibs because I'm not normally an extra fine guy. But you could see that that was a decent size posted as well. And as I said, that these are all cartridge converters, the Parkers. And you can see there that one is empty at the moment. I'm going to refill it for this video. I did clean it out. I'm trying to practice a little bit more sort of pen hygiene more recently. And I do just need to try and clean my pens out a little bit more than I actually do. I'm typically one that, as you have seen, I will go through at least 10 pens a week. Some will remain inked up, some will not. So I'm trying to, in a lot of cases, I've left them inked up for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks before putting them back into rotation, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to clean them out. I'm trying to do a little bit more pen hygiene there. The next pen inked up is a beautiful pen. It's a Mont Blanc. You can see there the white snowflake mountain cap. This is the Mont Blanc Le Petit Prince, and this is the Aviator Solitaire Doué. It's got a leather cap. It's a platinum plated body there. It's quite heavy, but you can see there you've got a star on the clip. You've got the plane from the Le Petit Prince, from the Aviator, and then you've got the planet as well. And then all of this is the sand dunes that you can see there. It really is a beautiful pen, and very glad that I picked it up when I did. And you can see the emblem there on the nib. It's a Mont Blanc 146, number 6 size nib. That is a medium. You can't post the caps on, I want to say, the majority of writers' editions. A few that you can. The Jules Verne you can. That's the only one I have in my collection that you can post the cap. I really like these Solitaire Doués, and have to say I am going to be on the lookout for more of those, because I do like them. They are a nice size, a good weight. They write well, and I have to say, over the past year, since January this year, I have kind of changed my opinion of Mont Blanc. In the terms of their nibs and how they write. I still think a lot of Mont Blancs are overpriced. Certainly the resin ones, but more so these writers' editions, they are insanely priced. But they are nice pens. And I have to say that if I have the opportunity to pick one up, I will. I picked this one up, and then I think it was the next day I managed to order this one as well from a jeweler's in the UK. And this is the Mont Blanc Writers Edition, Brothers Grimm. I have a few friends that actually have this pen, and I always wanted it. I was a little bit sad and frustrated that I remember when this pen came out, it was under £900 at retail. It was selling for, and now it's at £1,099, I think, or £1,090. The prices have gone up in a couple of years. And I was a bit sad that I didn't pick this one up, but I saw this one and I actually got it for under 900. So I think I got a very good deal on this pen. There were only 2 left, and within a day they both went. This again has a number 6 size Mont Blanc nib there. Again, it's a medium, and you cannot post the cap on this one. So do I like or not like you can't post the caps? Well, I'm not a cap poster, but I know a lot of you are, and I know that is a deal breaker for many of you, and I think that kind of puts a lot of people off getting a pen if they cannot post that cap. For me, it doesn't. I don't mind it. I only want to post the short, the thin pens. I don't normally want to post a pen of any of these sizes in this pen tray, because I just don't feel the need to. But I know some of you like to do it to add a bit of extra weight to the rear of the pen, or just not to lose the cap or misplace the cap. The next pen inked up, which I also picked up, I think about 4 days later, was this one, and it was it is a Mont Blanc Sir Arthur Conan Doyle 1902 edition. It's not the cheapest version, it's the mid version of the pen, and I really wanted this one. I didn't like the cheap version of the pen. And I say the cheap, I mean the lower entry version, which, to be honest, this Brothers Grimm is. But this is a fantastic looking pen. So I wanted this one, and you've got the magnifying glass there, with glass actually inside it. You've got the mother of pearl that you saw there, snowflake. You've got a wooden piston cap. It just looks nicer than the entry-level version of this pen. Again, number 6 size nib, and you've got Arthur Conan Doyle there on the nib. Again, that is a medium, and yes, you can't post that cap either. And you can see a sort of a pretty sort of decent theme there with these writer's editions that you cannot post those caps. one thing I've just noticed actually that there you go. I have lined up all of the lines. They weren't lining up there just a moment ago. So again, I think that's 3 cap thread starter points. So 1 in 3, you'll probably get it to line up. The next pen is a pen that I purchased recently. I purchased this at the end of July this year. It's a bittersweet pen. It's a Conway Stewart. I like Conway Stewart. It's an original Conway Stewart, and I've always wanted an original Conway Stewart. All of mine are more modern versions. This is a cartridge converter though, but this is the Conway Stewart Centenary that was made in 2005 to 2006 to commemorate 100 years of Conway Stewart. And it was made by Henry Simpole, this beautiful silver overlay. And I have to say, I really do love this overlay. And the reason why I say it's a bittersweet is that Henry Simpole unfortunately passed away in 2020. So sort of the heart of the pandemic. And it is a shame because he did some really nice work. Same as Paul Rossi in the US on a lot of the classic pens, LBs and CP models. So it's bittersweet that sadly Henry did pass away, but I am just glad that I managed to pick one of these up from a seller, a UK seller, and he had 4 of these. He sold 1, he then sold me this one, and he's got 2 left. Has the original Conway Stewart sort of 2-toned nib there. He only had it in a broad nib, and he gave me 3 different limited edition numbers to pick from, and 2 were odd numbers, and I'm not particularly an odd number person, so I decided to pick the even number, and this is number 30. So for me, this is it's a nice pen, and as I said, this is a cartridge converter. It does have probably, I would say, not an original Conway Stewart converter there. That does look like and feel like a little bit of a cheap converter. I've got some Schmidt K5, so I will probably replace it at some point. I've got some spare ones that I bought. I can post the cap on this. It won't post deeply, but it posts securely. But as you can see, it is a massive pen if I post that. And it's still a massive pen if I don't post it. So for me, that is a really nice pen. I got it for a fairly good price. I think they were retailing in 2005 at around about $1,400, which is probably around about top end of £800–900. I paid probably about, I think it was about, with shipping, I think I paid about $830 for it. So I don't think it's a bad deal. I thought they would have gone up in price a lot. There is a US seller on eBay selling one of these. He wants £1,500, so about $2,000. I don't think he's going to get it, and he probably isn't expecting to sell it anytime soon. He's probably just holding out so that he can get that price eventually. But I think I got a fairly good price on that pen. And I like it, I really do, and I love that it is a Henry Simpole pen, and I have now a Henry Simpole pen. I would like a few more of his if possible, but I know that that's also very difficult because he's now passed away, and unfortunately he's not going to be able to make any more, and it's going to be trying to pick some of these Henry Simpole pens up from collectors. I know Conway Stewart has a Marilyn Monroe pen with his overlay or filigree on it. I'm not that into Marilyn Monroe, so I probably won't pick that one up. But it's one that I had been looking at for a while. It's just I'm not really into having actresses on a pen per se. The next pen also was a pen that I got in July. I ordered this from a retailer in Sicily, and strangely enough, I was looking online, and these retail at £1,090. These are quite expensive, but it's a nice looking pen, and I had discounted it prior to pulling the plug, because I thought, as this was a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Jane Austen, that it was going to be quite small. Conway Stewart have made some which have been small. Aviator have made some that have been small. Aviator have just made another one which is small or thin and short as well. But when I saw a comparison of this next to a Mont Blanc 149, I thought I really need to buy this one. So as you can see, it has the snowflake there, and it says, I think it's by a lady. There you go. You can see that. The cap is actually designed with like a gentleman's coat of the era, where you had various stages or step downs. The clip here is like a drawstring bag that women of the era used to sort of put their handkerchiefs in, or a powder box or something along those lines. I really like that cap band. That is very beautiful. I kind of wish the cap band was maybe a little bit thicker though. But this is a really nice pen. I ordered it from Sicily. I did get stung on import tax. I thought I would. I did, unfortunately. But you've also got a silhouette of Jane Austen there as well, and a number 6 size. I got this in a medium nib. I think the majority of these Mont Blanc Writer's Editions come in mediums. I think that's the vast amount of them. I think they do have some fines and some broads, but I think most of them do come in that. You can't post the cap. There is a bit of a step down here, which if you're going to hold on to the threads, you are going to feel. But I don't feel that, because I'm holding it down on the section more. But again, this is a nice pen. I really, really now am glad that I picked that one up. I was supposed to be on a pen buying hiatus and not buying any pens for July or August, but yeah, what can I say? I did buy a few, but I am glad that I did, because they are pens I really like. And this was another pen, which was the Parker Duofold Prestige Ruthenium Chisel. And this is a pen that I've been after for a while. A friend at the pen club that I organise, Andrew, had picked one up, and I think it was about a year ago, it might have been 6 months ago, that I saw this, and I really, really wanted it. It's a nice pen. It's in the prestige range of pens. It's the same sort of design, but really nice. Comes with a number 6 size nib. I could only get it with a fine nib. There were some of these in Japan selling with mediums and broad nibs, I think, but they were like double, if not almost triple the price. So, or at least by the time I imported it. You can post the cap. It posts deeply and securely. And I love this pen. I really do. Do I wish it had a medium nib on it? Yes, maybe. I do have some other Parker Prestige nibs in medium, so I could swap those nibs over or transplant them over and use them on that pen if I wanted to. Or I could get 1 or 2 replacement nibs. They're around about £170. I'm always a little bit dubious about buying spare nibs. I don't drop my pens and break my nibs, so typically if I buy some spare nibs, it means that I've got some still spare. So I try not to, and I also have to think about adding that cost to the pen as well, or across multiple pens, if I were to maybe sell one of those pens later. So it's just something I always have to think about. I don't typically buy nibs. I have bought, I think, about 4 or 5 Visconti nibs, the 23 cat palladium nibs, prior to them moving to the in-house gold nibs. And now you struggle to find not only the 23 cat palladium nibs, but also the newer 18 cat gold nibs. You can't seemingly buy them now. It seems to be the Visconti have cracked down on that, which is a shame, because I always think it's nice to be able to replace a nib if maybe you damaged it, or if you wanted a different nib size. The next pen here is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, Jules Verne, and I got this from a friend, Tony, in Kansas City. I exchanged a couple of Visconti millionaires for this. Really like this pen. I've always wanted this. This was the one Mont Blanc that I really wanted. It's got a number 6 size nib there, medium nib as well. Tony had this in a medium. He really likes fine nibs. He wanted a fine nib. He managed to buy another version of this with a fine nib and said, look, I'd sell this or I'd swap it. And we agreed to swap. Now, this is one of very few Mont Blancs now that you can post the cap on. And it will post deeply. It does post onto the piston knob, so you have to be careful there. But this is a beautiful pen. I really love this material. It really is a beautiful pen. So I have that one inked up this week. And then I also have the Robert Louis Stevenson Mont Blanc inked up as well. And you can see a beautiful large pirate there on the Mont Blanc ice cap or mountain cap. This really is a beautiful pen. Again, it's another one that I'm really glad. Oh, it's got a bit of ink around that section. I'm going to have to wipe that off. But this is a really nice pen. You've got number 6 size nib there. Again, a medium nib. You can't post the cap on this one, but it's a nice writer. And to be honest, all of these Mont Blancs I have here are nice writers. In fact, all of these pens in this pen tray are nice writers. And I'm glad that I've added those to my collection. I have to really think, though, about how many more pens do I want to add. I probably do need to sell some at some point. And I think about this, I've been in the hobby now for 8 years. And 8 long years. And I have over 300 fountain pens. And that's not including a lot of the cheaper Chinese pens like the Jinhao 1919s, maybe the Hongdians or the Mahjongs that I may have acquired more recently this year or last year. So in 8 years' time, do I really want to be at 600 pens? I think the answer to that is a definitive no. I really, really do not want to be at 600 or more pens, or even 500 pens. So I do need to think about this and start using my pens more. And it's not to say that I don't use my pens more. I do, and I do try to rotate them, but I need to rotate them more. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen here inked up is the Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in gold. So we will do an ink swatch here. And this is a nice writing pen. It is the Parker Duofold Centennial. That is an I and an A for Centennial. And it's the Godron. I always call it Godrun. It's Godrun in gold. This is a fine 18 cat gold nib. And the ink in here is diamine ochre, which is a nice brown ink that I have in my collection. The next pen inked up is the Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in silver. So we'll do another ink swatch here. And I did just say when we went through those pens that I was out of ink on this one. So I do need to ink this one back up. So let's try this again. There you go. So this is a nice writing nib. And it is a medium nib. So this is the Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in silver, and it's a medium 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is diamine, and it's Earl Grey, which I think it's a nice grey, and I probably could have gone for Old Smoke maybe, because that would have been a lighter grey for the silver, but I think still that's a nice colour. The next pen inked up is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and this is the Le Petit Prince Aviator Solitaire Doué, and we'll do an ink swatch. Now, I know what ink this is already because I can see the difference. So this is the Mont Blanc, and I'm just going to say put it Le Petit Prince Aviator. Otherwise I'll run out of space, and it's a medium 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is KWZ Nuki Brown, which is a lovely sort of chestnutty brown ink, which I do like a lot of. The next pen inked up is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Brothers Grimm, and we'll do an ink swatch. And again, this is a nice writing nib. I really do like how this writes. So this is the Mont Blanc Brothers Grimm, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. Most of the Mont Blancs are 18 karat gold. You can get some 14 karat gold nibs, and they typically are more the older Mont Blanc. So, and then the ink in here is KWZ Grey Lux, which is almost a black ink. And I just want to double check. Yeah, it's just Grey Lux. I had a funny feeling I had a number 3 after it, and I was like, normally I put a number, like a hash and a number on my ink database, or my pen database, because I have multiples of bottles, and I was thinking, well, I can't have 3 bottles of that. Maybe it was called Grey Lux 3, but no, it's not. The next pen inked up is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle 1902 edition. We'll do another ink swatch here. And this is also a nice ink as well. It's another brown ink. So this is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and it's the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle 1902, and again it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. The ink in here is Mont Blanc Toffee Brown, which is a ink that I haven't really used a lot recently outside of this pen. It's a darker brown, a little bit more darker than that of the KWZ Nuki Brown, and also the Diamine Ochre. I've had it for a number of years, Mont Blanc Toffee Brown, but just haven't. I think I went through one bottle of it, and then, or a couple of bottles, and then I just stopped using it for some reason. The next pen inked up is the Conway Stewart, and this is the Centenary. This is a Henry Simpole overlay or filigree. So this will do an ink swatch here. Now I do have the same ink here that I've got above. So this is the Conway Stewart Centenary and it's a broad, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. It's one of the original Conway Stewart nibs, and I don't have any problems with this nib. It writes perfectly. I know others. I know Stephen Brown has said that he had a very mixed range of Conway Stewart nibs. I have the modern ones. This is a vintage, or not the vintage, but it's the original, and I've not had any problems with this nib. But it is only one nib. I would love to try a few more of the original Conway Stewarts from maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, and see how those nibs wrote. The ink in here is KWZ Grey Lux again, which is what I have in the Brothers Grimm. It's a nice dark ink, and because that's a black and silver pen, I decided to go with a black ink. I might go with a grey ink at some point. The next pen inked up is a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Jane Austen. So we'll do an ink swatch, and this was the pen that I got from Sicily. It was a retailer on eBay that was discounting, and I wanted to get the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Jane Austen ink. I realised it was more of a blackish grey, and I didn't think it kind of matched the pen. And then I looked at the Atramentus Jane Austen as well, but then that was a green ink, and the cap here really is more of a bluish grey. So I decided in the end just to ink it up with an ink that I already have, which is this one here. So this is the Mont Blanc, and it is the Jane Austen. Again, it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. I wouldn't actually mind getting some of these in a broad nib, maybe, but I think the majority of these are normally typically medium nibs. The ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku AUG, and I was thinking of more of a blue-grey or a grey-blue ink, and I've got some of those, and I could have put that in there, but I also like Pilot Iroshizuku AUG, so I decided that actually I would just put that one in there. The next pen inked up is the Parker Prestige, and this is the Ruthenium Chisel. So we'll do an ink swatch, and this is it looks a light grey ink. It's not that light grey actually. It's the Parker Prestige Ruthenium Chisel, and it's a fine 18 karat gold nib, quite a firm nib though, and then the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey, and I say that this looks a little bit of a light grey. Typically Diamine Earl Grey, like in this one here, is normally going to be a lot darker. But it does really depend on the nib and how the nib writes. The next pen inked up is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and this is the Jules Verne. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is one that I inked up here with a more turquoisey coloured ink. I could go with a darker blue probably to match the pen, but I kind of like this colour. So this is the Mont Blanc, and this is the Jules Verne, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Waterman Inspired Blue, which is more of a turquoise ink, but it's an ink that I do like a lot. And then the last pen inked up is the Mont Blanc Writer's Edition, and this is the Robert Louis Stevenson. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now this is another dark grey ink that is almost black. So this is the Mont Blanc. It's the writer's edition, and it's Robert Louis Stevenson. And it's a medium 18-karat gold nib. It's not KWZ Grey Lux. In this one, it is diamine graphite, which, to be honest, I thought diamine graphite would have been a lot lighter. Grey, as in graphite, as in pencil, lead or graphite, but yeah, it's actually quite a dark grey ink. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in gold in a fine 18-karat gold nib, inked up with diamine ochre. We have a Parker Duofold Centennial Godron in silver in a medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with diamine Earl Grey. We have a Mont Blanc Le Petit Prince Aviator in a medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with KWZ Nuki Brown. We have a Mont Blanc Brothers Grimm in a medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with KWZ, and this is Grey Lux. We have a Mont Blanc Sir Arthur Conan Doyle 1902 edition in a medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with Mont Blanc Toffee Brown. We have a Conway Stewart Centenary in a broad 18-karat gold nib, inked up with KWZ Grey Lux. We have a Mont Blanc Jane Austen in the medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Aji Sei. We have a Parker Prestige Ruthenium Chisel in a fine 18-karat gold nib, inked up with diamine Earl Grey. We have a Mont Blanc Jules Verne in a medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with Waterman Inspired Blue. And then we have a Mont Blanc Robert Louis Stevenson in a medium 18-karat gold nib, inked up with diamine graphite. So there you have it. That's my Coney ink pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.